Hello, my name is Wilta Sorellis, and I will be presenting medical error. And this is Shayna already um, recording the first the first part 1 to 5, and I will go on from there. And to start, medical error is a very big topic when it comes to the healthcare due to the high numbers of patient arms, patient death. If you go back in the recent, as Shayna stated earlier, there is a high rate of death and harm that been causing to the patient and loved ones due to medical errors. So when it comes to medical errors, and how it affect the healthcare. There is no one trust each other. As far as the nursing, trusting other nursing, the doctors sometimes have doubt of the nurses, and nurses have doubt of the doctors. So we each have an environment where we question each other knowledge because of the high incident that been occurred. And one thing, another important thing is that the patient are very anxious when hospitalized because they worry about something wrong, something going wrong. They always I heard patient mention before. They say, "Well, when I come in, I did not have all these issues, and now I'm having all these issues." Although sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with the nurses or the doctor, because sometimes when patient goes to the hospital, they find out things that they never know of because of the lack of compliance. They don't follow up with their primary care doctor. And with that being said, they get because of the high incident that been happening, they get very worried and concerned about something going on with them while they're there. And one thing I have learned through this research, I did not know how anxious and guilty the doctor were prior to doing this research. I find out physicians have reported feeling very upset, guilty, self-critical, depressed, and very scared due to the medical errors that been happening. The Institute of Medicine is the one that step up since there has been a high rate of medical error, incident, and death. So they come up with a plan, and they were like, enough is enough. At this time, we have 5 years, and during those 5 years, the goal is to decrease medical errors up to 50%. And they come up with recommendations to be followed. So some of the recommendations they come up with was fatal leadership and error reduction and patient safety. And they basically set goal for patient safety, and they want us to track the goal and the progress as we improving and our medical error rate. And they want us to reporting of medical errors is very important because they in order to keep track and they basically want us to come up with a system that will automatically catch when something very harmful happens, and or something a near misses, or any adverse reaction that's not intended to happen. They want us to have a backup system that can report those incidents. As I'm doing this project, when I come to the 21st century, basically, model of leadership, I can say, as I learned in chapter 3, the the leadership I can see that required to solve the medical error will be the thought leadership, because they are very feature oriented, and they, as I read in chapter 3, the Blue Cross and Blue Shield has used that leadership to fix some issue and come up with some policy in 1920. Although it's very back in the years, but I also read about their characteristic and about tough leadership, which is they are very future oriented. So this leadership will help solve the problem we are having as far as medical error, and they are focused on issues that are very critical importance to nursing and the healthcare. So thought leadership will be the leadership to go to, although there is some other ones. I think as far as strength-based leadership, that was my first idea. Then when I read a little bit, I kind of go with thought leadership, because I felt like it's fitting the best, since the Blue Cross and Blue Shield have used it to solve some issue and come up with some policy, and also they are feature oriented. So that's the reason why thought leadership is the best leadership to solve this issue. Some of the characteristics they having, they are the idea they put forth by thought leadership typically are feature oriented, as I mentioned earlier, and make a significant impact. The reason why the feature oriented, which I really like, because we want to leave the past. We want to focus in the future now to see how can we do things better, how we going to improve, how can we learn from the past and solve the future of medical errors, solve the future of the issues, come up with some policies, come up with some protocols that will help us decrease medical error. In addition, they are generally problem oriented, which is medical error is a big problem, so which increase their value to both individual and the organization. One thing as I pick up in one of the website, Leadership and World Management, they have mentioned that what are the features a culture of safety. A culture of safety is an environment in which patient and error reduction are top organizational priorities, which is very important, because we always want to put the patient at first, and the safety are the most important things. Before we can do anything else, we have to make sure they are safe. And also in this culture, an executive board level commitment to improving patient safety is present, and patient safety along with error reduction are explicit state organizational goals. And in this culture, safety and error reduction becoming everyone's responsibility, which is a very important point. A very important point. In order for us to solve this issue, everyone is responsible. It's gonna take the nurses, the doctors, the social worker, the CNAs. It's gonna take all of the team in order to come up with a solution, and it's everyone's responsibility in order to have a safe environment. A reduction in medical error is gonna take a lot of work and effort, and it's gonna have to be everybody focused in that same goal. So that was it for medical errors, and thank you very much. And below I have the references where all the information come from. And again, that was the presentation regarding medical error. Thank you very much. Bye.